Hey, it's Anthony Meisner with Land Title. Came to bring you your update for Longmont. So let's dive right into the city. Very interesting stuff happening. If you look at the average sales price, the 21% increase might be just slightly misleading, but it actually is looking very similar to where we were a year ago. So look at last month, 2.2% up above that, kind of on that trajectory you would expect to see for the year. A slightly elevated average sales price compared to where we were last year. Now, we did have maybe the worst month in a very long time as far as average sales price was concerned for February. So take the 21%, throw it out, and let's look kind of at some of the other factors. Now, if we look at the median, same thing, good information coming out, down a little bit from last month, but the median sales price was up a little bit more around what we would expect this time of year. So good sign there at 585. If you look at the condo townhouse market, this one is super funky, really high on the average. Not very many sales took place, but the median is right where we were a year ago. And I still expect this market to be a little bit softer than it was before. The second guess on this is always the price per square foot. And if you look at the condo townhouse one over there on the right, you can see that, yes, it's up above where it was a year ago, but also 2.5% down from the previous month. It bounces around a lot because it doesn't take but a few luxury sales or a few really low end sales to skew the numbers quite a bit. So it is going to bounce around. It's been a lot more volatile than it usually is because there's so few sales taking place. But the price per square foot on the single family home side at 275 was up quite a bit from where it was last month. But it actually is quite a bit down from where it was last year. And so we're still trending around the 2023 numbers, right? So I don't know what to look at this. It feels like this market is just very stable, right? It has been for a few years. You're not really seeing a whole ton of change over the course of any time since, things really dropped off after the pandemic. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. A nice plateaued market during harder times shows a lot of resilience in the marketplace. So I think that's a good sign. Now, if we look at the supply and demand, this is really going to tell us what's going to happen for our buyers and sellers this year. The active units on the market's 285, right exactly where it was last year, 1% below that. Exactly kind of what we should expect. Lots of new listings coming to market, 161. It looks like sellers are coming out early again, just like we saw last year. So that's a good sign, right? More sellers coming to market. Active listings are staying fairly stable with a year ago. The pendings and under contracts, though, are actually lagging a little bit behind what you would expect. And with interest rates a little lower, this is a little bit of a cause for concern because we had such a quick early pickup last year. But still, 109 went under contract. It's just 13% below where it was this time last year. So a little bit slower, but it's going to keep the inventory levels elevating faster. So look at our month supply of inventory. It's only 2.4. Right below where it was last year, but we started with a lot less. We're already up 14%. You're going to continue to see this trend as the year goes on, unless something dramatic happens where buyers can absolutely change their behavior. But, here we are within the first days of a war, and war also changes consumer sentiment so quickly. So keep your eyes on this stuff. Supply and demand is going to be key here. The other thing that we always keep tabs on is the average days in MLS because, this is how long does it take to put a house under contract. This should trend down all the way through June, so it will continue to speed up. Make sure you're reminding your buyers and your sellers that this is the slowest time of year was January. So now in February, right where you'd expect, and we're going to continue to trend down towards the June timeframe when we're at the fastest pace of the market. The percentage close price to list price is sitting exactly where it was a month ago, and it's way less than it was this time last year, over 1% different, which just means buyers have the upper hand more so than they did last year. And, this is just a function of so many more sellers being on the market, that pent up demand from seller population, and there's just not as many buyers as there are sellers, so they're negotiating harder and they're able to do that. Hopefully that's helpful information. If you need other marketplaces, don't hesitate to reach out. Anthony at Land Title. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel to see more content like this.